All right, everyone, you need to pull up a chair and listen very, very closely. We need to have a serious conversation today because what was once whispered in the dark corners of the internet, dismissed as fringe conspiracy, has been dragged kicking and screaming into the mainstream spotlight by a man who does not speak carelessly, a man whose career is built on uncovering uncomfortable truths. The veteran author, Tom Bauer, he has dared to ask the unthinkable question, the one that strikes at the very heart of the Sussex brand, the royal line of succession, and the very concept of truth itself. He has questioned the true parentage of Archie and Lilibet. And the fallout, my friends, has been nothing short of devastating. Reports suggest Prince Harry is absolutely furious, incandescent with rage, warning Bauer and others not to spread what he calls dangerous lies. But the sheer intensity of Harry's reaction tells its own story, doesn't it? Because if these claims had no foundation, if they were just wild, baseless fantasy, why the panic? Why the threats? Why the rage? Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, Bauer's words sliced right through the carefully constructed PR-polished Sussex narrative. He pointed the long-standing inconsistencies surrounding Meghan's pregnancies, questioning why both births were cloaked in a level of secrecy unlike that of any other royal children in modern history. His message was clear and chilling. There's a story here, and the world deserves answers. For years, speculation about surrogacy has refused to die down. From Meghan's oddly shifting, collapsing, and disappearing baby bump to her stubborn refusal to follow the royal tradition of hospital protocols, the inconsistencies just keep piling up. Critics have been asking for years, why the secrecy if there was nothing to hide? Bauer, with his authority and credibility, have given fresh life and legitimacy to these doubts, reigniting the debate with a vengeance. And how have the Sussexes responded to these renewed serious questions? With transparency? With evidence? With a calm and dignified rebuttal? Of course not. Insiders claim Harry's response has been nothing short of unhinged. He has privately warned Bauer to back off and has been described as unraveling under the weight of the allegations. But his fury looks less like the strength of an innocent man and more like the raw fear of a man who has been caught. Every angry outburst, every frantic denial, only serves to convince the public that Tom Bauer has struck a nerve, perhaps even the truth. And what about Meghan, the master strategist, the grand puppeteer? She has, of course, turned to her favorite weapon, lawyers. Reports suggest her team has been firing off cease and desist letters threatening multi-million-dollar lawsuits against any outlet that dare to repeat Bauer's claims. But this tactic has backfired on her spectacularly before. Instead of killing the story, the legal threats just amplify it. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. Critics argue, and I wholeheartedly agree, that by trying so desperately to silence speculation, Meghan is only fueling the belief that there is indeed something to hide. The contrast with the birth of Prince William and Princess Catherine's children could not be more stark. When George, Charlotte, and Louis were born, every detail was shared with a joyful and expectant world. We saw Catherine glowing and beautiful on the steps of the Lindau wing just hours after giving birth. The monarchy, the institution, stood proudly beside them. It was a national celebration. But with Archie and Lilibet, the senior royals have remained conspicuously distant. No proud photos on the hospital steps, no warm public embrace from King Charles or Prince William. That silence, that physical and emotional distance speaks volumes, and many of us interpret it as a quiet, dignified acknowledgement that these questions linger even inside the sacred walls of the palace. So, here we are. Tom Bauer raises the questions, Harry explodes with rage, Meghan panics with lawyers, and the palace, the institution that should be defending the integrity of the line of succession, refuses to defend them. The result? The suspicion grows louder, not quieter. The world wants answers about parentage, about lineage, about legitimacy. This isn't just gossip anymore, it's about the very foundation of the monarchy. The loudest call now echoing across social media, across public debates, is simple and ruthless. Prove it. Critics, journalists, and royal watchers alike argue that only DNA testing can finally settle the matter of Archie and Lilibet's lineage once and for all. If Harry and Meghan have nothing to hide, why resist? Their continued refusal is seen as damning, fueling speculation that surrogacy or some other form of alternative parentage is the truth they are terrified of being exposed of. Harry's public persona. once defined by his military service and his mother's legacy of compassion, is now being defined by lawsuits, angry rants, and a paranoid obsession with silencing critics. He comes across not as Diana's brave son, but as an angry, erratic man who is hiding something. And as Tom Bauer has pointed out, this is all part of a larger pattern of deceit. This is the couple who shamelessly used their Netflix series to attack and demean the late Queen's most treasured institution, the Commonwealth, calling it Empire 2.0. This is the couple who, as Bauer reminds us, peddled Meghan's lie about racism within the royal family, a lie Harry himself had to backtrack on because he knew it was untrue. And now they want to ensure their Californian kids are known as Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet because it's their birthright. A birthright that is now under the most intense scrutiny imaginable. They are, as Bauer so perfectly puts it, the king and queen of hypocrisy. While Harry lashes out in these furious, uncontrolled bursts, Meghan has retreated into an icy, calculated silence. Beyond the legal letters fired off by her pit bull lawyers, she has refused to directly address the claims. To critics, and to me, this looks like a tactic confirmation. The Duchess, the woman who once couldn't resist controlling every single narrative, who would sit down with Oprah for 2 hours to complain about flower girl dresses, is suddenly quiet when the legitimacy of her own children is being questioned. Her silence speaks far louder than that of Harry's fury. It convinces many of us that there is far more truth in Bauer's words than the Sussexes would ever want us to admit. The coldness from the royal family suggests that they themselves want to keep a safe distance, perhaps anticipating that these questions of legitimacy could one day explode into a full-blown constitutional crisis. And this is the most tragic element of all. This scandal doesn't just taint Harry and Meghan, it casts a long, dark shadow over their children. Archie and Lilibet's place in royal history is already fragile, thanks to their parents' decision to flee their duties. But these profound doubts about their parentage exist. They risk being defined not as modern royals, but as symbols of a modern scandal. Unless the Sussexes provide the transparency the world is now demanding, their children may grow up under a cloud of suspicion that they never asked for and do not deserve. The crisis isn't just about gossip anymore. It's about legitimacy, lineage, and the monarchy's future. By raging at Tom Bauer instead of offering transparency, Harry looks desperate. By hiding behind lawyers, Meghan looks evasive, and together they look profoundly guilty. The calls for DNA testing will not fade away. They will only get louder. The palace's silence will only grow more deafening, and Archie and Lilibet, innocent as they are, may have to carry the heavy weight of their parents' secrecy for generations to come. This is all happening, as Tom Bauer notes, under the reign of a king who is tragically indecisive. King Charles, a man who wants to please everybody but succeeds in pleasing nobody. As a father, he would clearly like Harry at his coronation. But this isn't about being a father, it's about being the king, and he can't even decide what uniform to wear, let alone make a hard decision that would make it clear that Harry, after all the damage he has done, is not welcome. He should have made it absolutely clear that the Sussexes' titles were off the table. But he dithers, and in his dithering, he creates a vacuum of leadership that allows scandals like this to fester and grow. History is ruthless, and unless Harry and Meghan confront the truth head on, this scandal will not just define them, it will define their children, their legacy, and their place in royal history forever. The danger for them now isn't just the rumors themselves, it's their refusal to confront them. And the longer they refuse, the more people will assume the absolute worst. It isn't just their own reputations at stake anymore, it's Archie and Lilibet's future. What happens if these children grow up with their place in royal history constantly being questioned? What happens if their titles or their rights of succession are legally changed because the fundamental issue of their legitimacy was never resolved? This isn't about gossip, it's about the very foundations of the monarchy and history. Harry's rage at Tom Bauer shows how fragile and insecure he has become. Meghan's cold silence shows she knows this story has teeth, and the palace's refusal to defend them shows that even behind those ancient royal walls the doubts linger. The truth is simple. Unless Harry and Meghan come clean, this scandal will not fade. It will grow. It will follow them, and one day the very thing that they fear most, exposure, will arrive. Not on their terms, but on history's. So now I put the question to you, my brilliant community. Tom Bauer has dropped this explosive claim. Harry is furious, Meghan is panicked, the palace is silent, and the world is demanding answers. Do you believe Harry and Meghan should finally submit to DNA testing to put this scandal to rest once and for all? Or do you believe their refusal will only deepen the suspicion that they have been hiding something monumental from the very beginning? Drop your verdict in the comments. Write DNA now if you think the Sussexes must finally prove Archie and Lilibet's legitimacy with testing. Write no need if you believe for whatever reason the children's privacy should outweigh the public's demand for answers. And what about the monarchy? Should the palace step in to protect the integrity of the line of succession, or should they continue to stay silent? Right, palace must act if you think King Charles and Prince William can no longer ignore this. Or stay silent if you believe the monarchy should leave Harry and Meghan to face the scandal they created entirely on their own. Because make no mistake, this is no longer just about gossip. It's about legitimacy, history, and the future of the monarchy itself. The truth always finds its way to the surface. The only question is, will Harry and Meghan choose to reveal it themselves, or will it one day be forced out in ways they can never control? Let me know where you stand, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because this story is the biggest one yet, and it's far from over. Ta-ta, and bye for now.